Coming up on tonight's CTV News, police launch an investigation into a homicide. The coroner releases his findings into the collapse of the CTV building, and one local man is making models out of red zone homes. This is CTV News, I'm Grant Mangan. Police in Christchurch are still investigating the murder of Amy Elizabeth Farrell. This comes after police found the woman's body in the boot of a car parked in a Woolston supermarket yesterday. Patrick Phelps reports.
This is the car park where police found the victim's body yesterday afternoon. Lloyd Fraser lives across the street and was watching yesterday when the police arrived on the scene.
It was all cordoned off, and they were here for a good couple of hours, and then saw the tow truck come, saw the forensic guys taking photos and everything, surrounding the car taking photos.
The police are now conducting a post-mortem on the victim and are investigating her Woolston home. The victim, aged 24, was reported as missing to the police last week, and her car had been parked at New World since about 10 o'clock Saturday morning. The police gave information at a media conference this morning. They are looking at whether or not Amy Farrell's murder was linked to the attack of two tourists in South Westland on the west coast.
At the same time, the investigation led us to a vehicle of interest, which was also being sought by West Coast Police in relation to the attack of two tourists in Franz Joseph. As you're aware, a 38-year-old male was arrested at 3 o'clock this morning in relation to those attacks.
Members of the investigative team spoke to the 38-year-old man who attacked the tourist. There are currently about 25 officers on the job. They believe the murder may be connected to the West Coast incident. The man who attacked the tourist and the murder victim knew each other. Police are asking for information from anyone who noticed anything suspicious regarding a white Toyota Corolla in the Woolston New World car park. Patrick Phelps, CTV News.
CTV News received a statement from the family who say Amy was a kind and caring girl and much loved by her many friends and close family. Amy was always helping people in need and worked as a caregiver for Richmond Fellowship in Christchurch. A coroner's report into the deaths of students who were known to be alive following the collapse of the CTV building has finally been made public after 3 years. The report has found emergency services failures did not contribute to the deaths of 8 students at the CTV site. That's cold comfort for the families of the victims whose loved ones didn't make it out alive. Parts of the story may be unsettling for viewers. Marcus Gibbs reports.
February the 22nd was an unforgettable day. 115 people were killed when the CTV building collapsed during a major earthquake. In 2012, coroner Gordon Matinga conducted an inquest into the deaths of the students who were known to be alive following the collapse of the CTV building. This is his report. Within the document, he lists his findings into the deaths of the 8 people who were still alive 4 hours after the building collapsed. 5 of the students on the eastern side of the CTV building were still communicating using their mobile phones for at least 12 hours after the collapse. All died from crush injuries, the effects of fire, or injuries suffered after the collapse. But the coroner has found the search and rescue effort did not contribute to their deaths, despite it being criticised for its leaderless and ill-equipped approach.
Your discipline will impose order within chaos, and that's what was sadly lacking on that day in CTV.
Alex Savedanov's wife was one of the 8 trapped under the rubble. Tamara Savedanova didn't make it out alive.
If it was better communication between the police and the firefighters and the other service, I believe the outcome would be much better, which doesn't necessarily mean Tamara will be rescued, but more people will.
Alec first spoke to his wife at about 10 to 11 that night. For nearly 10 hours she'd been injured and trapped under a mountain of rubble. Tamara told her husband she wasn't scared because she knew people were trying to rescue her. She made her last call at 12:50 a.m. The call connected for 18 seconds, but nothing was said.
Whatever that collapse was, it didn't happen until 13, 14 hours after the quake, so there's that period of time. So in a way, it doesn't matter what triggered that collapse. It was the fact that she was there and alive, and others were there and alive, and the lack of resources and people that were put in on that side of the building where those known live people were.
The coroner's report commended the rescue efforts of those working at the CTV building. He said they were outstanding, courageous and selfless, but the report also said the outcome could have been better if there had been extra resources and better communication. But he wasn't satisfied that those measures would have helped to save the lives of the 8 students.
I never said I had any questions for the frontline people that were engaged, but it was visible that the command above that failed on crucial points.
In this instance, the coroner agreed, stating there was a major failure by senior fire service staff to establish an overall incident controller and command post at the CTV site. Transport difficulties meant USAR staff from the North Island did not make it to Christchurch until 12 hours after the earthquake.
Maybe a reflection of lack of organisation, maybe a reflection of lack of people, maybe a reflection of lack of resources, maybe all three.
Some equipment was being used on one side of the building, while rescue staff on Tamara's side weren't using that equipment.
Cutting equipment, listening equipment, could have made the world of difference. She was known to be there. That equipment stayed on the other side of the building. Nobody knew what one side had and the other side didn't have. That's where an ICP was so important. That's why command structures were so important.
This is the end of Alec's campaign. He accepts the coroner's findings. This is his last media interview. He will now spend his free time with his children, enjoying this special spot at Burnside Primary where him and his wife planted a tree. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
St John ambulance officers often have to deal with closed, bumpy roads. Over the weekend, they had their chance to appeal to the man in charge of repairing Christchurch's roads. Duncan Gibb from Skirt joined the team for a Friday night shift as part of St John's annual appeal.
When you're travelling at up to 30 k's above the speed limit, you need a clean, smooth road. Thankfully, that's what the man in charge of repairing Christchurch's earthquake-damaged roads mostly found when he spent a night out with St John over the weekend.
It's actually been really interesting being responsible for the repair of the roads in Christchurch, to be sitting in the back of an ambulance, going quite quickly to get to someone in need. There's a bit of work to do on the roads.
Skirt's General Manager Duncan Gibb might oversee the work on the roads, but that's just his day job. On Friday, for one night only, he was working for St John as part of their annual fundraiser.
So St John are needing to raise money, as they do. They have about a shortfall of $30,000 a day that they need to make up through donations from the public.
Duncan's night was exciting from the start. His shift kicked off at 5:45 and he was soon out the door. He proved a master with the stretcher. His first job was to help a woman with stomach pain. Later he helped take another woman with cardiac pain to hospital.
And then we got to see a home birth, and we were there to help if it was needed, and the midwife was able to deal with that, and the child was delivered healthy and happy, and that was really great. So we've seen a bit of variety, and this is what these guys live with, which is an incredible amount of diversity and variety and challenge.
14 Christchurch local heroes like Duncan are also helping to save lives for one night over the next few weeks. St John is only partly government funded, so each participant has the goal of raising $5,000. It's hoped altogether $100,000 will be fundraised for the Christchurch team. But to keep the countrywide operation going, even more money needs to be found.
There is a shortfall, and that shortfall has to be made up somehow, and that's why, for example, between the 7th and the 11th of April, there's the St John fundraising, really, and they need to raise $2 million. So, I think it's great for all of us to remember how important they are.
As ambulance officers travel around the city, they often have to battle the broken roads and the ongoing repair work. They were happy to give Duncan some feedback to take back to his day job.
Try and stay away from the potholes. But it's taking time, but we'll get there.
We are about 43% of the way through the rebuild of the horizontal infrastructure, and we're pretty happy at Skirt where we're going at the moment.
Roadworks aside, Duncan's work on the job received the approval of his ambulance supervisors.
If we've asked him to do something, he's done it, and he's been quite good with interacting with the patients too, so it's been awesome.
Skirt's work on the roads is due to wind up in 2016, so perhaps Duncan's next job will be working out of one of these. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
Coming up, one local man is preserving Christchurch's buildings and homes.
Join us tonight at 6 for DW World News. Informative, lively, international news, breaking stories and global developments. DW News, weekdays at 6 p.m, right here on CTV.
Avoid the monkeys when it comes to relocating. Trust A1 Movers, a family business since 1993 that guarantees a professional job every time. We carefully handle and wrap your valued items, ensuring they have a safe journey. Secure storage and insurance options are also available.
A1 Movers, the careful, caring moving company.
Oi!
The Valiant Tavern has been in the centre of Heathcote Valley for over 130 years. This new and iconic tavern is rich with history and the only tavern in New Zealand with an original artisan wow. Open 7 days, the restaurant offers an outstanding menu with great weekly specials such as Tuesday $15 steak nights. If you're looking for a relaxing afternoon or evening out, then enjoy the spacious courtyard and outdoor area. Also available for private functions and special occasions. Located near the Christchurch Gondola and just a short drive from Sumner Beach.
Our new companion package is a personalised service for those that need extra help and support. A cost-effective solution for someone who needs more than just a taxi driver. Our drivers are hand-picked from our experienced team and specialise in providing the right support and companionship. Home safe every time with Blue Star Taxis.
G'day, this is Fletch, your presenter of the TV show Classic Restos. It's the show where it's your chance to see completed restorations being shown, driven and enjoyed.
Christchurch property owners are blaming insurance hold-ups for the fact some buildings have been untouched over the last 3 years since the February 2011 earthquakes.
The old post office in Cathedral Square and the Millennium and Ridges hotels are among the buildings stuck in limbo. Some insurance cases may go to court, with irritated owners eager to move on. The old post office, a heritage-listed building, was built back in the 1870s and has been subject to Section 45 notice. In other words, too dangerous to occupy since February 2011. The owner says he's been fighting insurance over the building's fate for 3 years now. He says the problem is the company doesn't want to pay the insurance, and until that happens, they're stuck. He says urgent make-safe work was carried out in the aftermath of the earthquake. The former Design and Arts College on Worcester Street is fenced off and also has a Section 45 notice in place. The insurance company responsible for that building has been put on notice, and the matter is likely to go to court. Risk Worldwide is an international disaster insurance recovery firm and is handling the claim on the company's behalf. Sarah says they manage the make-safe work, but further actions rest with the owners.
Wallaby numbers in South Canterbury are bouncing up and farmers are struggling to control the numbers. In the last 2 years, one farmer has spent $24,000 on a program in an attempt to poison the wallabies.
Tim Morrow's sheep and beef farm has become overrun with wallabies. On top of poisoning, recreational hunters also kill 2,000 of the pest every year. He says it's hard to know how many wallabies are on his property, but it's definitely in the thousands. They apparently target the best areas. If there's land saved up for young sheep or calves, wallabies will find it. The introduced pests damage both native and exotic forest, scrub and fences. If it weren't for wallabies, Mr Morrow says he'd run 1,000 more sheep, which would mean an extra $150,000 every year. There are farmers throughout South Canterbury counting the cost of lost income caused by wallabies. Environment Canterbury says the numbers are growing and spreading throughout the 900,000 hectare zone between the Rangitata and the Rakaia rivers. Until 1992, the Wallaby Control Board was in charge of controlling the pest, but was disbanded when farmers decided they no longer wanted to pay for the service. The farmers decided to take it into their own hands. Numbers have risen since then. ECAN says the control work is uncoordinated, so while one farmer might be proactive, their neighbour mightn't.
One local has been preserving historical buildings and homes demolished in the red zone. Richard Gardner is a retired teacher who has a passion for making models. Emma Cropper has the story.
The small, intricate detail, the fiddly parts not many can master. I certainly couldn't.
I'm not taking you on as an apprentice.
I don't make the cut.
You don't make the cut, you're dead right.
It's a rare gift to turn pictures and pieces of cardboard and paint into real-looking models. Meet Richard Gardner. He spent much of his life as an art teacher at Burnside High School. 4 years ago he retired. Now he's found a craft to fill his days.
So my interest in architecture particularly has been a thing I can explore in this, because every different house and every building has got an architectural style which has made it significant in some way.
Constructing model houses of local buildings. This is his latest, Eliza's Manor on Beeley Avenue.
It's a house built in 1861, I think it was, 1861, and it's been added to a lot over the years. So it's a big and complex place with many new roofs and living spaces added to it, and so it's a very complex one.
But they're more than an empty shell. The walls are included. This one's special though. Richard and his wife had their wedding reception here.
I always put in the rooms so that when you look in the windows you can see the rooms that you know.
Hours of work goes into them. They usually take around 3 weeks. Many of them replicas of old red zone homes and buildings.
Just as I retired, the earthquakes had made their mark on the city and left a lot of buildings wrecked. That's when people wanted to have models.
But these don't just appear out of thin air or overnight, and the process for making them isn't easy.
But it's complicated and it needs me to be really accurate, and so I've just got to be patient and I've got to be accurate, so I look at, in this case, the plans which I had and also lots of photographs so that I can continue to go around and make sure that every part looks just as it is.
Often it's too late to see the houses before they're demolished. A Whetū house was built in 1978 near Lake Ellesmere, home to Huri Whenua Taurua, the MP for Southern Māori. In 2003, fate saw it burn to the ground. But using old pictures, Richard recreated a close to perfect replica.
I had to talk with them and do a few drawings and make sure that I was right. And if I wasn't quite sure, I'd sit down with them and say, is this part right? Is this window in the right place? And we did all those sorts of discussions. And then just to make sure I was right.
But his first is one of his favourites, a Christmas holiday experiment that led him to where he is now, a model of his family home.
And I guess that, to me, looks a bit rough now, but because I hope the modelling skills has improved. But in fact, it's still a precious model of us because it's our place.
But Richard's a busy man. He has enough orders to keep him going until Christmas. His cat even offers to help sometimes. Do you love making them?
I do, yeah. It's like many jobs, a bit of a love-hate relationship because at times it's frustrating. When I'm gluing things, sometimes things go wrong. It tests your patience and your self-control. But yeah, I do, because each one is quite different and it's special. And each building means something to people, and it's a really good thing to be part of.
And so we leave his home and Richard knuckles down to finish off his masterpieces. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
What an absolutely wonderful hobby to have, and what a great way to preserve some of the lost history of our buildings. Well, coming up, your local weather and sport.
The world has a great deal to tell. Journalists from across the world report on their home nations and the experiences of the people who live there. World Stories.
Hurst Auto Dismantlers, your one-stop shop for all your mechanical and car part needs. Our huge premises boasts a large selection of mechanical parts, panels, tyres and glass. Most makes and models are available on site, and if we don't have it, our trusted staff will do their best to source what you need locally and nationwide. So come in and see the team, or just give us a call and save time and money. Hurst Auto Dismantlers, 343 0099.
Hi, I'm Steve and welcome to Carpet Kingdom. At Carpet Kingdom we stock a massive range of carpets and we're also the largest vinyl stockist in the South Island. And not only do we have an excellent range in store, but you can purchase our stock online. We offer free measuring quotes, we have our own installation team, we ship nationwide, so come on down and see us at Carpet Kingdom. 312 Wilsons Road in Waltham, just off Brougham Street, or visit us online at carpetkingdom.co.nz.
Hi, I'm Mark and welcome to Staywell Pharmacy. Whatever the season, Staywell Pharmacy has you covered. As an integrated pharmacy, we stock all the well-known pharmacy medicines, as well as quality nutritional and herbal treatments. Our team of pharmacists and full-time naturopath are here to help you find the products and advice to suit the needs of you and your family. So come in and see us at Staywell Pharmacy, 27 Shands Road in Hornby. Staywell Pharmacy, live well, stay well.
Hi, Rob Coate-Williams. Join me with Rob's Country every Friday at 7:30 in the evening when I take you out of town and talk about anything this country. Rob's Country, Friday at 7:30.
With the weekend at an end, it's time to catch up on all the sporting action with Gordon Findlater.
The Wellington Hurricanes spoiled Kieran Reid's 100th Super Rugby match party when they downed the Crusaders 29-26 at AMI Stadium on Friday night. The Crusaders were under the pump for the majority of the first half, eventually surrendering the first try of the match in just the 8th minute. The Hurricanes were in again halfway through the first period before some handiwork from Andy Ellis and Ryan Crotty set up Johnny McNichol for a try somewhat against the run of play. The Crusaders went on to lead at half-time 18-17 and in the second period had a chance to close out the game, leading 26-24 after a Tom Taylor penalty with 15 minutes remaining. The Canes then silenced the home crowd with just over 5 minutes left in the match with a great individual try which started from a defensive lapse from Johnny McNichol. The loss puts the Crusaders at the bottom of the New Zealand Conference, and with 2 games on the trip to South Africa next on the schedule, these will be testing times as the boys look to keep their season alive. The Canterbury Wizards missed out on a chance to host the 50-over domestic cricket final when they were defeated by Northern Districts at Hagley Oval yesterday. Canterbury's usually solid top order faltered as they fell to 36 for 3, but then Peter Fulton and Andrew Ellis rescued a competitive score to get the team over the 200 mark. The match was decided in the 49th over of ND's innings when they secured the 4-wicket victory to give themselves home advantage in next weekend's final. The opponent will be decided on Wednesday when Canterbury take on Wellington at Hagley Oval. The race has a new champion, and he's the youngest in the cycling event's history. At just 16, Keegan Girdleston became the youngest winner of the 100-kilometre race from Christchurch to Akaroa in a time of 2 hours, 36 minutes and 46 seconds, finishing just 10 seconds ahead of Aaron Strong. Professional Rita Trotman smashed the women's course record to win in 2 hours, 54 minutes and over 10 minutes clear of last year's winner Charlotte Lucas. And finally tonight, the Mainland Tactics will be looking to back up last weekend's first win of the season to the Central Pulse when they are at home to take on the Melbourne Vixens tonight. The Tactics will look to carry their newfound form into the match and show that they're not just one-match wonders. That match gets underway at CBS Canterbury Arena from 7:40. You're up to date with the latest in local sport. I'm Gordon Findlater for CTV Sport.
If you're driving around the central city, CTV's traffic update will assist you navigating the repairs taking place.
Hello travellers, to help you plan your journey around the central city, here's a look at what to expect this coming week. These areas have major works in place in the northern end of the city and will be slower in peak times. The following roads are down to 1 lane in places as work continues across the Kilmore Street, Victoria and Durham Street intersection, the Park Terrace Kilmore Street intersection, the Madras Street Armagh Street intersection, and in the south of the city, the Chewham Street Colombo Street intersection, the intersection between St Asaph Street and Manchester, the Barbados Chewham Street intersection, and finally the St Asaph Street Barbados Street intersection. We recommend using the 4 avenues to get quickly around the city. Remember, Montreal Street still remains a good northbound route. Keep watching CTV News first at 5 for the latest updates on what's happening with the central city roads. And in the meantime, visit the Transport for Christchurch website.
Well, each week we invite viewers to suggest a piece of music to accompany our weather. Well, this week I was collared by a very polite and well-mannered man who suggested that we should play a track by Coldplay. Now, we aim to please, so this is for you, Andy. Do enjoy our regional weather.
Kia ora Canterbury, let's take a look at today's temperatures. Timaru 19 degrees today, Temuka and Geraldine both on 21. Ashburton 19, Methven 20 degrees. Rakaia 19, Darthfield 20. Leeston and Rolleston on 19. Lincoln and Christchurch also on 19 degrees today, and Akaroa on 20. Kaipoi, Rangiora and Amberley all receiving 21 degrees. Inland now, Culverden and Hanmer Springs 24, and the same there in Cheviot. Further up around the coast, Kaikoura on 19 degrees. And now for the weather in your area. Low cloud at first in Timaru, then clearing with long sunny periods developing. Northeasterly breezes are expected. Tonight's low 11, tomorrow's high 19 degrees. Ashburton. There may be some mist or low cloud at first for you, but becoming fine and sunny during the day with the usual northeasterlies developing. Tonight's low 11 degrees, tomorrow's high 20. A cloudy start for your Tuesday, Christchurch, but a sunny afternoon is in store as northeasterly breezes blow those clouds away. Tonight's overnight low is 11 degrees, tomorrow's high 19 degrees. Up in Kaikoura, some low cloud at first, then clearing and long sunny periods developing with northeasterly breezes. Tonight's low 11, tomorrow's high 19 degrees. In other areas around Canterbury, Temuka and Geraldine looking fine with 21 tomorrow, Methven 19 and the same there in Rakaia. Darthfield and Leeston both on 19, Rolleston and Lincoln 19 degrees for you as well, and 19 also in Akaroa. And in North Canterbury, Kaipoi and Rangiora a warmer 21 degrees tomorrow, Amberley 21 expected there, and Culverden, Hanmer Springs and Cheviot looking lovely and warm with 24 degrees. Looking ahead for Canterbury, sunny periods and high cloud on Wednesday with light to moderate northeasterlies. Mostly fine and sunny with milder temperatures and moderate northeasterly winds on Thursday and Friday. Fine at first on Saturday, but cloud increasing during the day with light southerly winds. Expect cooler temperatures and some drizzle patches may develop Saturday night. Cloudy on Sunday with drizzle patches possible and moderate easterly winds. And that's your weather update for Monday. Have a great evening.
And that is CTV News for Monday. I'm Grant Mangan. Good night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.